313. Put your hands up and follow me. My name is Gabriel Bowman. Hey, focus. Ooh, this is a tough one for you. How do you appear more masculine? Oh, brother. How on earth do you appear more masculine? Hey everybody, my name is Gabriel Bowman, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about what makes you masculine and how you can look a little bit more masculine. Now this is a guy coming from a guy who's skinny, has a very fast metabolism, so it's really hard to gain muscle, things like that. I've been on the grind for like 2 years, and it's just tough, right? To start, I just want to say every boy looking to become a man needs to make some serious changes. It is a tough world out there. There's a whole lot going on, and not only do you need to look like a man, you need to be a man. You cannot waste any time. You can't pretend anymore. It's not that easy. So if you can focus up, which is the first thing you need to do if you want to become a man, I'll tell you everything you need to know. And maybe if you guys want an extension, if you feel like I missed out on anything, I'd be more than happy to make another video explaining in depth a couple more different topics to help you guys become more masculine. Now to start, okay, this is the biggest thing. You have to figure out what you are about. A man without purpose is not a man at all. Let's not lie. Do you ever look at a guy who plays video games and say, dang, I want to be just like you. Like, you might be playing video games yourself. Do you ever feel proud of being like, when a girl's asking you like, oh, what's your hobbies? What kind of things do you like to do? And you're like, I play Starfield. I play Skyrim. I'm a Red Dead Redemption connoisseur myself. Oh, get the fetch out of here, dog. No, you aren't. Let's get a little bit more direct lighting. You never look at a man without purpose and say, oh, I want to be like you. And so if you want to become a man, and if you're very serious about this, I want you to grab a pen and paper, okay? Or, something just to write on, even if that is on your phone. But I want you to get up and physically grab something, right? I'm going to put out some questions. I need you to answer them as honest as you can. I'm going to go one by one, and hopefully this will give you an idea of what you're about and who you want to become, right? Because if you fail the plan, you plan to fail. So the first question I want to ask you guys is, who are you? Who are you? Right? No better way to get this started than who are you, right? The second point, I kind of talked about who we want to become. So this question is, who do you want to be in 10 years? What do you want to be in 10 years? Ask yourself that question, write it down. And the next one, I'll give you guys a little bit of time to write if you need that, or just pause the video. What drives your motivation? Of everything you've tried, what has driven your motivation the best? What has been the most effective, right? Ask that question. And last but not least, I think this is the hardest thing, maybe on a pride standpoint, because you know what your issues are and you just want to lie to yourself when you're writing things down. You're like, I don't want my kids to see this, or my mom. It doesn't matter. This is for you only, right? So be completely honest. It does you no good to lie to yourself. But we do it all the time. I've done it. Honestly, it's real. But what are your weaknesses, right? So what is your biggest weakness? Whether that is that you watch pornography, or you drink a lot, you have a huge vaping addiction, right? Things like that. What is your biggest weakness? And it could also be something else. Maybe you don't have the best patience, or you feel like you are maybe not the best influence to your friends, or maybe your friends are your biggest weakness, right? So think about those couple of things. Now that you guys have hopefully written all these things down, if you physically got up, grabbed a pen and paper, or found something to type on, right? Already you are ahead of the game. You are already, I'd say, at least 20% more masculine than everybody else watching this video. You literally got up and did something. If that isn't a sign of purpose, I don't know what is. But now on the other hand, if you didn't, I suggest that you leave this video. I'll give you another chance, but if you're not willing to do these simple things, answer 4 questions on a piece of paper, get up and do something, you're already not capable of accomplishing anything in life, and we all know that, right? And I think the hardest thing is that you know that. But I'm giving you a chance to do that, right? And I mean that in the most respectful way possible, right? This should be a kind of a call to action to us all. If you were too lazy to do any of those things, you aren't worth anything to yourself, and because of that, you will never be worth anything to anybody else. That sounds really harsh, but if you're in a place where you want to become better and you know that you have room to grow, then do something about it. It's hard initially, the thought, right? But everything else works out. God helps you if you just show him that you need his help. If you just reach out, he reaches out too. So feel free. Don't be lazy, guys. Don't be lazy. That's not very masculine. Now that we've separated the wheat from the tares and you've established what you want, let's focus on what you need. Now you could relate. Now I assume that most of the people watching this have played video games, right? I've played video games, right? You could relate this to in the character creation when you are picking your skill, your attributes, or maybe even your class, right? This is what defines everything, and you do get to customize your character in this sense. You get to pick these things that really make you who you are. So I'm going to list a couple things off. Write these down, or at least write down the one that you want to work on. As a missionary, they had us do this all the time because they wanted us to progress in the best way possible. Now, this was proven by thousands of people that they've tested it on, and it works. It's actually changed everything about how I think, how I do things today, and it's going to continue to change those things for me. So take this very seriously. Think about what you need here, right? So there's faith. These are Christ-like attributes. These Christ-like attributes determine everything out of masculinity. There's faith. Do you need faith? Do you need virtue? That's number 2, virtue, which is essentially, that pertains to anything like, it's at least anything that is moral, right? So if you're not the most morally clean person, virtue is a very good thing to test out, right? The next thing is diligence, your ability to work unceasingly, even when times are hard, right? Or when you're tired. Patience, that's the next one. Patience is a huge one. The next attribute would be charity. Charity, loving your neighbor. Serving people, being a little bit more kind and loving, right? Obedience, following the rules. Maybe you have a really hard time following the rules. Believe it or not, God blesses everyone who does follow the rules. It is in his commandments to follow and abide by the law, right? What about knowledge? Do you feel like you lack wisdom? If you feel like you lack wisdom, then maybe this is an attribute that you want to focus solely on. So think about those few attributes. What do you lack the most? You get to pick one. I mean, you can pick as many as you want, but I suggest that you pick one. Focus on one, and it's going to elevate everything else. Because I know that when you work on one, right, everything else kind of starts to go up a little bit, that little bar graph. Now that you have picked your attribute out, you've answered the 4 questions. Oh, I'm getting a call from my mom. 1 second. Okay, love you. Love you, bye. Now that you've picked the attribute, I want you to write it down next to the 4 questions you answered of what you want, right? So the attribute that you need to work on, and the 4 things that you want and desire, I guess your vision. So now I'm going to just read these to you, right? This is what I wrote down. If you guys have picked diligence, then whenever you feel tempted to be lazy, you get up, maybe do some push-ups, go and just accomplish something. Like if it's push-ups, make sure it's 50 push-ups, right? You just want to make sure that you're doing something that is hard to get you out of that slave mind loop. Just make sure that it's worth hard effort, right? So for any of those attributes, find the counter, right? That is probably the first thing. You want to study the counter to kind of reverse your weaknesses, right? But this part gets a little bit more simple, right? The man to be sought after the most has, in general, these 4 qualities, and I'm just going to list them off for you guys, right? 1, they're confident, right? Whenever we see a man, or we see, say, like Andrew Tate, for an example, not all of you like him, but a lot of people, and I think a lot of boys nowadays look up to Andrew Tate as a masculine figure, and you're going to identify these different things. You're going to see that maybe he's a little bit more confident, right? It doesn't matter if you like him or not. Think about maybe someone you like, right? Whether that's Jordan Peterson or if it's a neighbor. And I think something that's important to note, that you want to be sure of yourself, but in a humble way. Don't be too sure of yourself. What happens when you get too cocky while you're driving your car? You're too confident. You crash. It happens every time. It happened to me, not gonna lie. Don't get too cocky. You crash and burn 99% of the time when that happens. That's one thing that everyone's teaching that's completely wrong. This next one, it works into the first point in some sense. It will help the first point out, but you want to be healthy. Make sure that you're going to the gym, you're eating foods that are going to benefit you. Make sure that your mind's healthy, that you aren't consuming so much content every day that your dopamine receptors are completely fried, right? You want to make sure that these things are in check 100% of the time. This is part of health. It's going to help you in every single aspect of life, and it's going to make you more masculine. 3, the next thing, I always saw this when I was younger. When I look at a man I want to be like, I see that they have money, or that they have accomplished something, right? Maybe they have a business, some different things like that, right? Let's think of it like this, okay? When a man goes to another man and says, "Hey, I met the hottest girl I've ever met in my entire life. Yeah, I've got her number. We're going on another date, actually." What is he gonna say? He says, "Show me a picture." So you show him a picture, and he's like, "Oh, dang, she's bad, right?" And that's seal of approval. Done. Nothing else, right? Now, women, on the other hand, when women goes to her friend, she says, I met the coolest guy ever. He's super handsome, all these different things. She's like, oh, what does he do for work? Now, this is exactly what happens. 99% of the time, a woman sees a desirable man. Yeah, he might be good looking, different things like that. He might have a great personality, but number one, they want to see that you can provide, right? Can this man actually keep me safe? I saw Chris Rock, he talked about the same exact thing. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he said this, and I think it's completely true. He brought up that he's never ever seen a relationship get stronger on the woman's side when a man gets laid off, right? The woman, it's not like they just are like, oh, I feel like I've really gotten to know him. I really love this man. No, it's not like that at all, if we're being completely honest. And then the last thing I want to talk to you guys about, and I think it's completely underrated. I don't know, you guys put this one aside way too often, and quite frankly, it is killing you guys. Honestly, there's nothing else. It's just one of the most simple things. Everybody needs to do it, and if you aren't doing it, I don't know what to say, but you need to dress well. The first thing in charisma, when someone comes to talk to you, or even in sales, right? No one's going to talk to anybody that is not presentable, that does not look approachable, that does not look clean. You got to focus on dressing well. Now, we've talked about a lot in this video, and I hope it wasn't like a mess, and I hope you guys were able to take some good notes on this, and you have an idea of what you want to become and who you want to be in the next 10 years. But finally, you have to decide on one last thing. Now, this is the most important thing. Don't click away. Do you choose progression through Jesus Christ or not? There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.